with clients, obviously everyone needs backup, and we've had our share, touch wood, it's been a couple of years, from a ransomware or something like that, but it's at least, every few days there'll be a client that will call with a recovery, and we had a cloud backup provider that would just replicate a job for Veeam offsite. And so for us, backup was just break even on the cost, purely to just put that problem to bed, and just know that our clients in theory were safe. So as well as having our senior resource, there's a fair bit of time put into managing it and supporting when there was a more difficult issue. It wasn't making us any money. Ask my wife. It was, I just care too much. And so having, those sleepless nights and potential areas of concern, I think it was really constricting me. And like probably a lot of people who are potentially on Veeam, and we would document retention requirements for those clients and what we'd agreed upon. But at the end of the day, you've got to log on to Veeam, configure it, and 2 years later, hope that a tech hasn't tweaked it because of disk-based requirements, and you're potentially letting that client down. And there is a heap of room for error there. So with Enable Backup, everyone has X retention, files and folders backed up, whether it's SQL or other applications, all controlled from that one pane of glass. And so we can skim within 20 seconds down a column, and it's a weekly check for our guys just to check if we've added a new client in, we've got a profile attached, and if we don't, you can see it there clear as day. Whereas again with Veeam, you would have to log on to every single client server. So we were constantly coming up against old hardware or stuff where they were in theory rotating hard drives, which we could determine if that copy job went to the USB drive, but we couldn't tell if they're actually taking it off site. But when push comes to shove, you feel terrible. And for me, I feel like an incident like that can take you back from a business point of view months, of just the wash up of that, and the sleepless nights, and they talk about IT owners, you typically selling because they're burning out because of problems, and if you were losing data all over the place, that would be a reason for me to almost give up. Veeam felt like the gold standard, but it was just, there was too many areas that we could come unstuck, and we had a situation where a client was backing up to a USB drive. It was successful. There was 10 gig increments backing up successfully, and one day, brand new client looking to change to a NAS. We went to restore that data and we couldn't. It was corrupt. There was some errors on that hard drive, and so the whole image is invalid. And so, I think that's one of the areas where image-based has a gap compared to with the Enable Backup, in that where I guess the journaling, the way it works, where it's just picking up the zeros and ones and sending it to the cloud and locally and doing all its error checking, and just feel really comfortable that style of backup